Yo, Wheezy's energy is amazing. Like I'm saying, ultimate radio host. That's facts.
Yo, I'm trying to listen. I was telling Doc the other day. I said, we always talk about having our own station, and some of the problems that it's somebody else wants to be a chief, and that's one of the issues we have in Montreal. So much people are so concerned with just the title, opposed to just, Leo, let's just do the fucking thing. Let's just build the thing and let's just have it, and let's say we have it. But if we ever did a station, it won't be a station if someone like you's not on the station with us. Because to me, hearing you, and I'm thinking about Doc, and I'm thinking about Skinny with Chop Vision, and I'm thinking about myself, I'm like, this is a real fucking, this is Revolt Media. This is iHeartRadio without the corporate selloutness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to make it sustainable without a little corporate selloutness.
No, we need listen. As
a little bit, but I don't like to compromise the quality of the product. Like I'm all down to go wild out on marketing and promotion if it's within the realms of what I believe is cool. But I don't pay for ads because I'm not selling shit and things like that. Like, but like for me, it's mad important that like I don't desire to be advertiser friendly. I guess that's where it is for me. Like I'm not trying to be ad friendly. I want to be able to make the content that I want to make in the format that I think makes the most sense without having to worry about other people doing shit. So I'm super on the crowdfunding side of it. And that to me is important. And then, like, I've never chased a sponsor because sponsors come with, like, rules. I'm sure you know that way better than I do. Like, I don't know that I could be smoking pot in every fucking episode if I have sponsors.
From the jump, thank you, Baze. Shout out to Tracy, Bonita the Goddess. If I don't shout her out, I don't know how much people's watching, so I'm just talking to Holden. But speaking about the sponsor things, when I started, I asked myself this. When I started broadcasting, I asked myself this: what kind of host do I want to be? And I've been consistent. So even the sponsors know I'm fucking wild. I'm unpredictable. I'll get fiery, and it is what it is. And you kind of have to state what you're about and what you're trying to achieve with them. I totally agree with you. With the crowdfunding, I've always been kind of shy. I've always been kind of nervous, kind of anxious, a little bit of anxiety, because I'm like, look, I'm that guy that hates to throw a party because I believe nobody will come, even though people are gonna come.
Facts. A lot of people will come to your party.
Same way I feel about the crowdfunding.
All I can say is, do you know Meyer Clarity? I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a rapper that was from Montreal, moved out to Toronto. He's one of the only people that ever listened to me and opened a Patreon right after talking to me. He got $88 in pledges on day one. I never got that in my life, all right? Like, I've never done that well on Patreon.
No, I'm going to try.
But, like,
I've seen everything you do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it.
But, like, even on, like, the half-assed efforts, somebody recently put up $25 a month, and I was like, bro, it's not, like, real money, but the fact that there's a human being out there that says whatever the fuck I'm doing is worth $25 a month, bro, that's more than people pay for Netflix. Like,
but this guy's dope.
That's true. And it billed the second time. After the first time, you're like, the second bill, I was like, oh, say word. That is the best.
It's still coming in. You're getting the residuals. Yeah. I've always been scared to kind of like test those kind of waters. And it also played out too, my hesitancy. I didn't think nobody was going to like my shit when I began. When I hooked up with my man KT the B-Boy and we started podcasting.
Let's run that back. How did you actually get into your first endeavor?
Okay, so I got into this. So, as I said, I was just rapping in Rodney's basement, rapping with JD. They rapped. I did the intros. I'll give you, Holden, I got 6 to 8 bars. I'll give you a verse. I have at least one verse. I'm nice with words. I got at least one verse. And my delivery is fire. And then one day I was doing an intro for my boy Heavy. And he was by this guy he's been talking to me about for a while from the States, this guy KT the B-Boy. So I go and then, we're just shooting the shit after. I'm talking about Dominican Republic because, we always go to Dominican Republic in our 20s. The next day, my man Heavy hits me up. He's like, yo, KT's from Miami. He built this whole radio thing. He's a super producer. He does a lot of arts and stuff. He has this radio thing, but he has no host. And at that time, I was kind of blasé. I've dealt with a lot of hood niggas doing this shit. So I was kind of like, I don't want to fuck with dudes. But I met up with him, and the one thing I told him at the cafe, I met up with him at the cafe on San Jose. I said, if we're going to do this, we have to call it I Must Be an Issue. The next day he called me back and said, yo, I'm going to abbreviate it. I'm going to call it NBI Radio, but it's going to stand for I Must Be an Issue. And then we started doing it. I was nervous as shit because at that point, I was used to being in the studio with niggas I know. This is a guy I just met a week ago. So you're in the studio, you know, and he's just there and he's like, yeah, talk. And it's like, and then these are the early years of understanding how to build a segment. What's my theme of this episode? And those are the early years sitting down with KT trying to build that. When I first started doing podcasting, when we did NBI Radio, which was a mixed show that we did for about 3-4 years, where he played the most newest music, period. Like if Jay-Z dropped a song, KT was in a circle of producers. He had it within the first 3 hours. We was breaking shit all the time. We got sued by Bad Boy, by Puffy and them. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I can say it now. Fuck it. We got sued by Puffy and Def Jam 1 year. That, you know, and this is about 10 years ago. We got Puffy and Def Jam both sued us. Companies in the UK tried to buy our show. It wasn't enough money.
Oh, wow. And this is when you say tried to sue, as in they didn't successfully sue? Or?
They sued. We had to pay them.
Okay, let's say that happens, right? Because people talk a lot of shit about that sample shit, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna
play with samples, bro.
Shout out Lemeth for the raid. So let's say you put out, because I just put out some shit with some samples to test the waters in Spotify. Honestly, I don't really give that much of a shit. They're all low key. It shouldn't be a huge issue type thing. But how much is it? like if you can say a ballpark.
Listen, I hope my man don't kill me. I think it's been 10 years. I think Def Jam was like 3,500 at the time, so about 10 years ago. And I think Puffy and Bad Boy, they wanted 5K. I think we must have played something that shouldn't have been played. Like we must have played something way too early. But this was our mix show. So I spoke 8 times throughout the mix show for 1 minute. And then, it expanded to a little bit more as I got more comfortable. But when I originally started writing the shows, I used to write a whole sheet of paper to talk for 1 minute. And then he taught me that you have to learn to say more with less. You have to understand to kind of get your ideas in there. This is radio. You got to try to understand, like you're trying to get a lot of shit in there, be a little bit more tactful with it. Because KT is not only a super producer, but he did the comparison of Hot 97, but in Miami. He had a show on that.
So when you say that, you're basically saying apply concepts like brevity and like be a little more concise with it.
Yeah.
Don't be as rambly as you might want to be in the podcast format where it's like, ramble away, it's all good, nobody cares.
This was way before podcasts blew out. Like this is like years before that started. And my whole mentality at that point was like, okay, well, let's try and see what happened. When we started doing that, Obama was a couple weeks before Obama was going into office, inauguration. Because our first episode was called The Inauguration, and our second episode was called The Crusade. So that's when we started. So that's how far back that is. So he had 2 terms and we had Trump. So it's over 10 years ago. But he taught me like, and then you have to start thinking to yourself, I'm just talking to myself. So I start creating characters, even though you guys listen to the audio. So I created a studio engineer called Jose, just to make it more interesting. And that's be like, yo, so the show would start and I'd be like, yo, Jose, bring the Henny. Turn the lights low. Okay, turn me up. Okay, we good here. He never existed, but people thought he was a real person.
So
I've always liked pageantry. I've always liked to create shit. I thought it was dope.
Which makes a lot of sense because you was the big time playman in the church days. No, the black camps. I grew up like in court service, right? Like, so I grew up in the white version, and I had no idea that there were black camps till today. I mean, I went to EBS. I'm all around this area my whole life up until I'm like 16. No idea. Anyway.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey Day Camp. So we started doing that, started creating these characters, and I was like, okay, well, now people are liking the show in the States, in Canada, in the UK, in France. I think they played me one time in New Zealand. And it's like, yo, I'm just a dude from, and once again, I'm just a dude from Golden Edge. Okay, so people really like this. Then every year I just started taking it more and more serious. And then you start to take yourself a little bit more seriously too. So, okay, I can really do this. But hosting radio shows and podcasts is a very, very interesting process. A lot of people think, oh, it's easy. A lot of guys come to me, oh, it's easy. You're just talking. I'm like, oratory. That's the time, like, you're just talking. I said, Holden, you're a great example of this. Oratory discourse is one of the most criticized forms of anything because people are just listening to it. They could play you back all the time. When you play a sports game, whatever, it happened, whatever. But when you say something, people could play it back. They could play it back. They could analyze it. Hold on. Holden's tone is a little bit aggressive here. I think he's a little bit more passionate about this point of view. When people could play it back and point out and then create these reels, that's one of my nightmares. Someone's gonna create these reels of all the fucking snafus and bloopers I have.
Dude, I used to review,
which is fine because we're human, right?
Bro, but I used to review hip hop albums, right? Now you gotta imagine it. As much as it might be kind of progressive today, in 2017, when I'm talking about gangster rap in the hood, bro, it's as white as you can picture, and it's just as bad as you can think it is. And that's still on the channel because I don't believe in taking shit down. It's about showing your growth and evolution.